The needle slid under Kiva Rosendal's skin with barely a whisper of pain. In the sterile white chamber, 7 other humans sat in identical chairs, each with their own attendant, Tlovakian medical officer administering the same injection. The alien's 6 eyes blinked in asynchronous patterns as it monitored Kiva's vitals on a hovering display. "This will not harm you," the Tlovakian said, its translator rendering its clicking language into flat, emotionless English. "It is merely to monitor your biological responses during testing." Kiva nodded, keeping her expression neutral despite the cold fear gripping her chest. 5 months ago, humanity had made first contact with the Galactic Confederation, a collection of 17 sentient species united by common technologies and political agreements. Humanity's admission had been pending, contingent upon proving their species' viability through a series of tests designed to evaluate human adaptability and resilience. Kiva and the 7 others were Earth's reluctant champions. "Commander." Elio Vasiliev rose from his chair first, rolling his shoulder where the injection site was already healing. "When do we begin?" he asked, his voice carrying the weight of Earth's future. High Examiner Nextal, a towering Phyrexian with iridescent scales covering its angular frame, gestured toward the far wall. It slid open, revealing a vast circular arena with various stations and equipment arranged in concentric rings. "You begin now," Nextal announced. "The Galactic Confederation has observed your species from afar for centuries. You are puzzling to us. Physically unremarkable, yet persistent in ways that defy biological logic. This comprehensive evaluation will determine if humans possess qualities worthy of Confederation membership." Kiva exchanged glances with Desara. Okafor, the quantum physicist whose theoretical work had helped humanity achieve faster-than-light communication. Desara's eyes reflected the same mixture of determination and unease Kiva felt. "The testing protocol is divided into 6 stages," continued Nextal. "Physical endurance, cognitive processing, emotional regulation, adaptive reasoning, cooperative, problem-solving, and stress response, each designed to push your species' limits. Not all may survive." A ripple of tension passed through the human candidates. Martel Kimathi, the youngest at 26, stepped forward. "You're saying these tests might kill us?" "That is a possibility," Nextal confirmed without emotion. "Many species lose candidates during evaluation. It is regrettable, but necessary." Zabel Niran, a former military operative who had survived 3 wars, laughed sharply. "And if we refuse, then Earth remains isolated. No trade, no technology exchange, no protection from the numerous threats that lurk between stars." Nextal's upper appendage made a dismissive gesture. "Extinction would be inevitable within 2 centuries. The 8th candidate, Oren Lakatos, a wilderness survival expert with a prosthetic leg, nodded grimly. "So we're not just testing for ourselves. You represent your entire species," Nextal confirmed. "Perform admirably, and humanity joins the galactic community. Fail and Earth remains quarantined." The final 2 candidates, twins Pax and Lyra Darvishi, moved to stand beside Commander Vasiliev, their backgrounds in extreme environment engineering making them valuable team members. Kiva took a deep breath, stepping forward to join them. As Earth's foremost xenolinguist, she understood more than most how crucial this moment was. "We're ready," she said, though her racing heart suggested otherwise. Nextal's mouth parts clicked in what might have been amusement. "Your confidence is, noted, human, but you cannot comprehend what awaits. No species has ever completed all 6 stages without casualties." The first arena section illuminated, revealing a labyrinth of obstacles under harsh red lighting. Atmosphere vents hissed, and Kiva's lungs immediately burned with the introduction of a thinner air mixture. Physical endurance evaluation begins. "Now," announced Nextal as the doors sealed behind them. "Representatives from 17 worlds are observing. Show us what humanity offers the galaxy." As the candidates moved toward the first challenge, Kiva noticed hundreds of alien faces watching from observation decks above. The weight of billions of human lives rested on their performance. The countdown began. 3 days into the testing, Kiva's muscles screamed with each movement. The physical endurance trials had pushed them beyond reasonable limits, running in triple Earth's gravity, swimming through viscous fluid that resisted every stroke, climbing vertical surfaces with fingertips bleeding and lungs burning in the oxygen-poor atmosphere. Martel had collapsed during the 20th hour, his heart rate spiking dangerously before the Tolvakian medics intervened. He recovered, but the alien's data displays showed his performance metrics dropping. The Meraxi delegates are impressed, Nextal informed them during a brief respite period. Their species can maintain triple gravity activity for only 4 hours. You have persisted for 17. Commander Vasiliev, his face gaunt with exhaustion, merely nodded. None of them had the energy for celebration. The cognitive processing tests followed immediately. A brutal assault on sleep-deprived minds. Kiva faced a neural interface that bombarded her consciousness with multidimensional equations, linguistic puzzles in alien syntax, and spatial reasoning challenges that seemed to bend reality itself. Fascinating, murmured a jellyfish-like Hasrik, observer floating nearby. The human brain reconfigures neural pathways when conventional solutions fail. Most species simply reach capacity and stop. Desera excelled here, her quantum physics background giving her an edge with the abstract calculations. But Pax Darvishi suffered a seizure in the 14th hour, blood trickling from his nose as his mind reached its limit. His neural architecture is reorganizing, commented a Tolvakian medic, 6 eyes blinking in sequence as it studied the monitors. Unexpected, dangerous but potentially advantageous. Pax recovered, though his speech remained slurred. The alien seemed more intrigued than concerned by this development. When the emotional regulation tests began, the true cruelty of the evaluation revealed itself. Each candidate was subjected to personalized psychological torture, immersive simulations of their deepest fears, losses, and traumas, while biochemical inhibitors prevented them from dissociating or shutting down emotionally. For Kiva, they recreated the shuttle accident that had killed her parents, forcing her to relive it repeatedly with slight variations, sometimes allowing her to almost save them before snatching hope away. Her throat grew raw from screaming. Remarkable emotional resilience, noted Nextal as the candidates emerged, trembling and hollow-eyed. Most species compartmentalize or shut down. Humans feel the full impact yet continue functioning. "We're not your lab rats," Zabel snarled, his normally controlled demeanor cracking. "These tests go beyond evaluation into torture." "Yet you persist," countered Nextal. "The Jex representatives are particularly interested in this quality. Their species requires emotional suppression, implants to achieve similar functionality. The 4th phase, adaptive reasoning, brought new horrors. The candidates were subjected to rapidly changing environmental conditions, sweltering heat instantly switching to freezing cold, atmospheric pressure fluctuations that made their ears bleed, gravity shifts that sent them crashing into walls. During these challenges, they had to solve complex engineering problems, while their bodies struggled simply to survive. Lyra Darvishi demonstrated exceptional adaptability, her experience in extreme environments proving invaluable. Even as her hands shook violently from hypothermia, she reconfigured alien technology to stabilize their testing chamber. "Humans possess unusual environmental flexibility," observed a stone-like Petroxian delegate. "Their homeworld's variable, conditions have selected for this trait." As they collapsed into exhausted heaps after the 4th phase, Oren dragged himself beside Kiva. "We're not going to make it through 2 more phases," he whispered, his prosthetic legs interface showing damage from the environmental extremes. Kiva watched as medics treated Desara for pulmonary edema, the physicist's lungs struggling after repeated pressure changes. "We have to," she replied, "for Earth." The observation galleries had grown more crowded. Word had spread through the Confederation about the unusually resilient humans, and delegates from all 17 member species now watched with clinical fascination. Final phases commence in 6 hours, announced Nextal. Cooperative problem-solving and stress response will determine your species' fate. As the candidates were led to the recovery chamber, Kiva noticed something disturbing in the aliens' behavior, not concern for their welfare but the intense interest of scientists observing particularly promising specimens. And as she caught Nextal transmitting data to a secured console, a chilling thought formed. What if this wasn't just an admission test? What if humanity's unique resilience made them valuable for entirely different reasons? The cooperative problem-solving phase revealed the Confederation's true interest in humanity. 8 candidates entered a spherical chamber filled with a 3-dimensional maze of hovering platforms, energy barriers, and mechanical puzzles. Each person was equipped with a neural dampener that blocked specific cognitive functions. Each of you has been limited in unique ways, explained Nextal. One cannot perceive patterns, another cannot form new memories, another cannot process numerical relationships. You must complete the challenge together, compensating for each other's artificial deficits. Kiva discovered she could no longer understand symbolic representation, devastating for a linguist. Commander Vasilyev could not maintain spatial awareness, repeatedly walking into barriers he had just navigated around. Lyra was unable to recognize faces, including her twin brothers. This is about cognitive redundancy, Desara whispered as they huddled to strategize. They're testing how we function as a collective intelligence. The revelation transformed their approach. Instead of fighting their individual limitations, they created a human network. Oren's intact spatial reasoning guiding Vasilyev, Desara interpreting symbols for Kiva, Martel remembering critical information for Zybel, whose short-term memory had been blocked. What should have taken days was completed in hours. Unprecedented, murmured a crystalline Ethexian observer. Most species develop specialized cognitive roles. When those functions are blocked, their groups fragment. Nextal's upper appendages twitched in what Kiva was learning to recognize as agitation. Humans appear to possess generalized cognitive architecture. Any individual can partially assume another's cognitive role. The gallery erupted in clicking, humming, and pulsing lights as the alien observers communicated in their native languages. Kiva caught fragmented translations through her injected translator, military applications, and breakthrough adaptability. As the neural dampeners were removed, Kiva exchanged meaningful glances with Commander Vasilyev. Something beyond admission. Testing was happening here. The final phase, stress response, confirmed her suspicions. They were separated into individual chambers, each containing what appeared to be a simple control panel with a red button. Through speakers, Nextal explained, "This is the conclusive evaluation. Each chamber will fill with a neurotoxin that causes excruciating pain, then death. Pushing the button will redirect the toxin to another candidate's chamber, doubling their exposure while eliminating yours. If no buttons are pushed, all receive survivable doses. However, if multiple candidates redirect, concentrations may reach lethal levels in targeted chambers. The classic prisoner's dilemma, with their lives at stake." Kiva watched as her chamber began filling with pale yellow mist. The first whiff brought searing pain through her nasal passages. Her hand hovered over the button as her survival instinct screamed for relief. But something wasn't right. The aliens had demonstrated sophisticated technology throughout the tests. This crude moral dilemma seemed designed to force a predetermined outcome rather than test natural responses. Through the transparent wall, she glimpsed Martel in an adjacent chamber already collapsed and convulsing as yellow mist swirled around him. Someone had redirected their toxin to him. Fighting through escalating pain, Kiva analyzed what she knew about the Confederation's interest in humans. Not our technology or resources, but our adaptability, our resilience, our cognitive flexibility. The realization hit with stunning clarity. This wasn't an admission test. It was a capabilities assessment for potential weapons. The yellow mist thickened around Kiva, each breath like inhaling molten glass. Through tears, she watched Martel's convulsing. Foreman made her decision. Instead of pushing the button, She slammed her fist against the chamber's transparent wall over and over until blood smeared the surface. In adjacent chambers, the other candidates noticed. One by one, they turned away from their buttons and began attacking their chamber's weakest points: seams, ventilation ducts, control panels. Even as the neurotoxin intensified, they remained focused on breaking out rather than redirecting their pain. Commander Vasilyev, military training evident, in his methodical approach managed to pry open a maintenance panel and short-circuit his chamber's security. As his door slid open, alarms blared throughout the testing facility. "Protocol violation!" Nextal's voice thundered over the speakers. "Return to your chambers immediately." Instead, Vasilyev staggered to Martel's chamber, overrode its controls, and extracted the now unconscious young man. Desara and Zabel, freed from their own chambers, helped evacuate the others. Armed Tlovakian security forces surrounded them, weapons raised. "This evaluation is not complete," Nextal declared, entering the testing floor. "Your actions invalidate the results." "Your evaluation is a fraud," Commander Vasilyev countered, supporting Martel's limp form. "This isn't about Confederation membership. It's about weaponizing human capabilities." The observation gallery had gone silent. The diverse alien delegates watching the confrontation with varied expressions of concern, interest, and in some cases guilt. Kiva stepped forward, fighting through the neurotoxin's effects. Her linguistic expertise had helped her piece together fragments of alien communications throughout the testing. "You've been evaluating us as potential soldiers, not as equals." She turned to address the gallery directly. "The Confederation isn't united by peaceful cooperation. It's a military alliance preparing for war against something you fear. You need humans because we can endure what your species cannot." Nextal's appendages flattened against its body, a gesture Kiva now recognized as defensive. "The Confederation faces extinction-level threats. The void hegemony expands at the galaxy's edge, consuming everything in its path. Your species' unique resilience could be our salvation. So you torture us to assess our combat potential?" Zabel demanded, blood streaming from his nose and ears from the neurotoxin exposure. "Not torture. Necessary evaluation," Nextal insisted. "The 17 species of the Confederation each excel in specific domains, but all have critical vulnerabilities. The Meraxi collapse under gravitational stress. The Srik cannot process rapid environmental changes. The Athexians shatter under emotional pressure. But humans," continued Nextal, "humans adapt to all these conditions. Your species demonstrates unprecedented resilience across all domains. You are the missing component in our defense strategy." "Oh," new voice joined the conversation. A Petroxian delegate had descended from the gallery. Its stone-like body resonated with deep tones as it spoke. "High Examiner Nextal speaks without full Confederation authority. Many delegations object to this deceptive approach." The Petroxian turned to the humans. "I am Elder Quorum of the Ethics Council. What you've endured was not the standard admission protocol but a military assessment program implemented by the Defense Coalition without proper authorization." Controversy erupted in the gallery above, with delegates communicating in a cacophony of sounds, lights, and movements. Clearly, the Confederation was divided on how humanity should be approached. Lyra Darvishi, supporting her brother Pax, addressed the gathering. "If you wanted military allies, you could have simply asked. Deception breeds distrust." Elder Quorum's crystalline structure pulsed with light patterns indicating agreement. This approach was short-sighted. Humans have now demonstrated not only physical and cognitive resilience but ethical strength. When facing extreme pressure, you chose cooperation over self-preservation. As the security forces lowered their weapons, Kiva realized the testing had never truly ended. Their response to the discovery itself was the final evaluation. Part 5. The Negotiation. 3 days later, fully recovered from the neurotoxin exposure, the 8 human candidates sat across from the Confederation's Grand Council. No longer test subjects, They were now Earth's first diplomatic delegation. 23 alien representatives formed a semicircle before them, their diverse physiologies reflecting the vast biodiversity of the galaxy. The 17 Confederation species had been joined by observers from 6 non-member civilizations, all drawn by news of humanity's performance during the evaluations. Elder Quorum of the Patroxians addressed the assembly. The irregular testing protocol has been formally censured, but the results cannot be ignored. Humanity demonstrates capabilities that could strengthen the Confederation during this critical period. The Husric representative, a floating mass of translucent tentacles named Void Swimmer, pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. The Defense Coalition maintains that expedited assessment was necessary. The Void hegemony has consumed 3 peripheral systems in the past standard cycle. Their hive consciousness cannot be reasoned with, only resisted. Kiva, serving as humanity's chief diplomat due to her linguistic skills, leaned forward. Earth requires full disclosure before considering any alliance. What exactly is the Void hegemony, and why are you so unprepared to face it? The council chamber darkened as a holographic display appeared in the center. It showed a spreading shadow moving through a star map, systems blinking out as it advanced. The hegemony is not a traditional civilization, explained a bird-like Avani representative. It is a composite entity, a biomechanical collective that absorbs species and technologies it encounters. It has no diplomats, only an expansion imperative. Commander Vasiliev studied the tactical display with professional interest. And your defense strategy? Each Confederation species contributes according to their evolutionary strengths, replied Nextal, now serving merely as an advisor to the Council. The Ethexians provide computational supremacy. The Meraxi excel in energy manipulation. The Tilvakians contribute biological adaptations. But none of us can withstand prolonged conflict, added a previously silent Chex representative, its gelatinous form shifting constantly. Our specializations are our weaknesses. The hegemony specifically targets those vulnerabilities. Desara, who had been analyzing the hegemony's expansion patterns, spoke up. You're looking for generalists, not specialists. The human evolutionary path favored adaptability over specialization. Precisely, confirmed Elder Quorum. Humanity's greatest strength is not excellence in any single domain, but competence across all domains, coupled with unprecedented resilience. Kiva conferred briefly with her fellow candidates before addressing the Council again. Earth will consider military cooperation, but not as conscripts or weapons. We require full Confederation membership, technology exchange, and joint command of any human forces. A ripple of communication passed through the alien representatives, some clearly opposed, others supportive. Impossible, declared a Tilvakian counselor. No new species has ever been granted such status without centuries of integration. No new species has ever survived your complete evaluation protocol without casualties, countered Zabel. You need us more than we need you. The statement hung in the air, bold but undeniably true. The tactical display continued to show the hegemony's inexorable advance. Oren Lakatos, who had been quiet throughout, suddenly spoke. There's another option, a demonstration mission, one joint operation against the hegemony with human volunteers, operating under Confederation guidance but maintaining autonomy. The council chamber erupted in discussion, with species communicating in their native forms. Light patterns, chemical releases, vibrations, and sounds all merging in a chaotic exchange. Finally, Elder Quorum raised a crystalline appendage for silence. The Council will accept this compromise, a joint mission with limited objectives to demonstrate human capabilities and Confederation cooperative potential. A Meraxi representative added, if successful, we will support full membership, with the requested conditions. Kiva smiled thinly. We accept with one addition. High Examiner Nextal will serve alongside human representatives in equal capacity. Nextal's 6 eyes blinked in asynchronous patterns, a sign of surprise. You request my participation specifically? Consider it a cultural exchange, Kiva replied. You've studied humanity at our worst. Now you should experience humanity at our best. As the agreement was formalized, Kiva realized that in less than a week, humanity had gone from test subjects to potential saviors of galactic civilization. The irony wasn't lost on her. The very resilience that had made early human history so brutal and competitive was now their greatest asset in a universe of hyper-specialized species. The true test was yet to come. The Confederation battlecruiser, Resilient Accord, dropped out of fold space at the edge of the Vega Proxima system, its hybrid technology incorporating both alien engineering and human improvisation. 3 months of intensive preparation had transformed the 8 original candidates into mission commanders, each leading a mixed crew of humans and Confederation species. Commander Vasiliev stood on the bridge, surveying the tactical display, with Nextal at his side. The Tilvakian had proven a surprisingly adaptable liaison, gradually developing respect for human approaches to problem-solving. Hegemony presence confirmed in the outer belt, reported Zabel from the sensor station. Pattern matches intelligence briefing. They're establishing a resource extraction network as first phase of system consumption. Kiva studied the communication intercepts on her console. Their coordination signals match previous encounters. The collective consciousness is present but not fully integrated into this advanced force. The mission parameters were clear. Disrupt the hegemony's initial foothold without engaging their main fleet. A demonstration of tactical capability rather than a full-scale confrontation. Deploy reconnaissance teams, ordered Vasiliev. Meraxi energy specialists with human security escorts. 3 shuttles launched from the Resilient Accord, each carrying a mixed team, a testing ground for the integration of specialized alien capabilities with human adaptability. Lyra and Pax Darvishi led Team Alpha, targeting the hegemony's primary resource processor. Desara and Martel commanded Team Beta, focused on their communication relay. Orin, an eject specialist named Fluid Thought, comprised Team Gamma, tasked with gathering intelligence on hegemony biological vulnerabilities. Kiva monitored all 3 teams from the command center, translating between species and coordinating the complex operation. Remember, this isn't just about stopping the hegemony, she reminded them. It's about proving that integrated teams are more effective than segregated ones. The mission quickly encountered complications. Team Beta's shuttle suffered navigation failure, crashing half a kilometer from their target zone. Team Gamma discovered the hegemony had already assimilated local fauna, creating biological sentries with unfamiliar capabilities. Adaptation required, Nextal observed, watching the teams respond to the challenges. This is what we hoped to observe. What followed demonstrated why humanity had passed the impossible evaluation. When Team Beta's Athexian technical specialist suffered sensory overload from the crash, Martel carried the crystalline entity while following its rapid-fire instructions. When Team Gamma encountered atmospheric conditions lethal to their Hasrik member, Orin reconfigured his prosthetic leg to serve as an emergency environmental stabilizer. Most impressively, when Team Alpha discovered the hegemony processor was protected by gravitational distortion fields that would crush the Meraxi specialists, Lyra and Pax developed a relay system, entering the fatal field in brief rotations, each human enduring the crushing pressure for exactly 47 seconds before tagging out while their body recovered. From the command center, Kiva watched the mission unfold with a mixture of pride and concern. Humans were demonstrating their unique resilience but at tremendous physical cost. Your species willingly endures damage that would be fatal to ours, Nextal noted. Is this cultural or biological? Both, Kiva replied. Our history taught us that survival often requires sacrifice. The operation reached its climax when all 3 teams executed coordinated strikes against the hegemony outpost. The Meraxi, energy specialists, disabled power systems. The Athexians rewrote command protocols, and the human team members provided the physical resilience to deliver specialized packages precisely when and where they were needed. As the hegemony presence collapsed into disarray, the teams extracted with minimal losses. The mission was an unqualified success, not because of superior firepower, but because the integrated teams had accomplished what no single species could have managed alone. Aboard the Resilient Accord, the Grand Council's representatives received the mission data with growing excitement. The results exceed projections, Elder Coram announced. Humanity's integration with Confederation specialists demonstrates a new paradigm for resistance against the hegemony. Void Swimmer of the Hesric pulsed with affirmative bioluminescence. For too long, we have relied on species isolation, each contributing separately according to their strengths. This direct integration approach reveals new possibilities. Commander Vasiliev, his uniform bearing evidence of the mission's difficulties, addressed the Council directly. This is just the beginning. With proper training and technology exchange, human-alien teams could operate throughout contested regions. Axtal, who had witnessed humanity's potential from the first evaluation to this successful demonstration, raised all 6 appendages in the Tlovakian gesture of formal proposal. I move for immediate acceptance of humanity into the Confederation, with full membership status. The motion passed unanimously. As celebrations began throughout the ship, Kiva found herself standing before the observation window, watching the distant stars. Humanity had entered the galactic community not as conquerors or subjects, but as the missing piece that transformed 17 specialized species into an integrated whole, greater than the sum of its parts. We began as test subjects, she murmured, to herself, and became the testers. Behind her, Nextal approached with an official Confederation insignia. Your species has demonstrated what we had forgotten, that true resilience comes not from specialization, but from integration. Kiva accepted the insignia with a smile. The tests designed to find our breaking point instead revealed our greatest strength. Which is? Prompted the alien. We don't break, Kiva replied. We adapt. As the resilient Accord prepared to return to Earth with news of humanity's new status, the Confederation archives recorded a new entry. Species 18, Humanity. Primary evolutionary advantage, adaptive resilience across all domains, recommended deployment, integration with specialized units to create composite teams. Note: the human capacity to endure, recover, and continue functioning under conditions fatal to other species represents the Confederation's greatest asset in the coming conflict. The galaxy would never be the same.